Welcome back everyone, this is MandoAllDay, back with another video, and in this video I'll be doing an overview of the new 52 Villains Omnibus. I'll be talking about a little bit of story, the art, and of course if it's worth your purchase or not. Before we get started, make sure you hit the subscribe button to not support channel, but to keep up to date and watch videos like this. So let's take a look at front of the dust jacket, the spine, the back, and it has that look to it too. When you look at it a certain way, you kind of see that right there, especially the mouth right there. You see that? It's pretty cool. And I'll show you a four spread image of the art. Alright. Front of the book. The spine. The back. I'll show you a full spread image of the art. You guys can see that, which I really like this art piece. Alright, now let's take a look at what's inside. So, what is this book about? Now, usually from my overviews, I do talk about the stories and the story of the art, and of course give you my honest opinion. But this particular omnibus is different. And it's different in the sense that this omnibus collects all the origin stories, not all, but a lot of the origin stories for a lot of the villains during the New 52 era. As you can see right here, you have a lot of stories on here from a lot of villains. You got Cyborg, Superman, Zod, Lex Luthor, Ocean Master, Black Manta, Darkseid, Lobo, the Rogues, Reverse Flash, Mongol, Black Hand, Joker's Daughter, Clayface, Freeze, Bane, Court of Owls, Two-Face. The list goes on and on. There's a lot of stories on here. And so, in terms of talking about the story, honestly, it's going to be really long, and I don't want to bore anyone, so I'd rather not get into in terms of the origins of each story, because there's a lot of them. But I will talk about the book itself, and that, it does collect a lot of the origin story during the New 52 era. I want to be clear, this is during the New 52 era. I say this because some of the origin stories are a little bit different than the previously written in the comics, so keep that in mind. And also, this is during the Crime Syndicate, a post-Crime Syndicate arrival, I guess you can say. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, long story short, Crime Syndicate arrives in this particular Earth and have taken over this particular world, and now the Justice League is no longer available. So that's like the only prior knowledge you need to have. But apart from that, I gotta say, I actually enjoy this book for what it is. And again, I want to make it clear, for what it is. And like I said, this is just the origins of a lot of the villains during the New 52 era. So, if you go into it knowing that, and you do what I suggest you to do, which is read about 1 to 2 issues per day, I think you're going to have a good time. This is similar to the Batman 66 Omnibus, where a lot of the issues is just one story. Same thing here. All the issues on here are just one story. So I would highly recommend reading at least 1 to 3 issues per day. Because if you read more than that, you're going to burn yourself out. And I don't want you to burn yourself out. If you're into it, you want to read more, and by all means, go for it. But for me personally, and this is what I did, I read about 1 to 3 issues per day. And I really enjoyed this book even more. And I really got interested in seeing the origin stories of certain villains. For instance, some of my favorite ones, Ventriloquist, really creepy but cool backstory. You get the Court of Owls, very detailed in terms of the Court of Owls story and their origins. Here we have Deadshot, surprising, I didn't know a little bit of the origins of this character, which I really enjoyed. Deathstroke, really awesome. Darkseid as well too. Cyborg Superman, really interesting seeing what his purpose of being a Cyborg Superman and what he's capable of doing. Of course, Brainiac, come on. Lex Luthor, of course. Harley Quinn is a little funny here and there, but it's cool seeing kind of her origins, because you would say Joker is pretty sad and pretty tough to read. The Rogues, it's fine. I've read it. It's cool. I enjoyed it. There's someone here that I didn't like. There's one of them called Hell or Hell, something like that. It's just okay. And there's another one I forgot about. It's mainly about a clock or a phone. It was just a bit weird. But apart from that, though, every other story, I actually enjoyed it, man. I think this is a good omnibus. And of course, if you were to ask me what I recommended, yeah, man, I think the art's good. The art is good in all of them. There is one art in particular story. It's going to be Two-Face, where it's really all white and it's kind of whitewashed, if that makes any sense. Where it just looks, something's off about it. It's not bad or anything. It's just kind of The pacing of it does vary. Some of it is between average and above average. Very few times it dips below average, but for the most part, I would say it's about average. The paper quality is an omnibus, so it is going to be that nice, shiny paper too. You can see right there. In terms of the writers, you have a bunch. You have Scott Snyder, Jeff Johns, Paul Tomasi. I mean, you have a lot of artists on here. Gail Simone as well too. So there's that. But at the end of the day, would I recommend it? Honestly, yeah, man. This is gonna be a short review of, or overview, I should say, of an omnibus because I can't really go into detail in terms of each story because again, there's so many stories on here, and so I don't want to bore anyone. So to keep it short, would I recommend it? Yeah, man. I actually had a good time for what it is. Again, for what it is, and just want to make clear, this is just an origin story for each character, each villain. So if you go into it knowing that, I think you're gonna have a good time. And like I said, I would recommend maybe reading 1 to 3 issues per day. If you do that, I think you're gonna have a really good time. Whether you're gonna get the best out of it, I can really see someone try to read everything and get burnt out quickly. I did it with Batman 66 Omnibus. I got burnt out quickly. Luckily, the last stories in that omnibus took me back in and really enjoyed it. This one, I did what I'm telling you to do, and I really enjoyed it. So, once again, what I would give the New 52 Villains Omnibus, honestly, I'm going to give it a thumbs up. I like the stories on here. The art's good. The pacing is good. But again, I want to make clear one more time. I want to really emphasize it for what it is. For what this book is and what it entails, I think it does a really good job, and I would recommend it. If you're looking for like a really long story, it's going to connect all the characters, you're going to be disappointed. Definitely avoid reading it. So, again, I give this omnibus a thumbs up for me. Let me know what you guys think. Have you read this book? Do you plan on reading this book? Leave it in the comment section below. As always, make sure you hit the subscribe button to not support channel, but to keep up to date and watch videos like this. This includes an overview of the New 52 Villains Omnibus, and on to the next one.